What's up, guys? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to PXA Peeks at N++. Yes, indeed. So this is an interesting action platformer puzzle game thingy, I guess you could say. It comes to us from another Canadian developer. I always love showcasing these, called Metanet Software out of Toronto, who are most famous for making, well, the N series. So the original N came out in 2004 as a Flash game, and then N+, which was sort of an updated version with better production values and more content, came out in 2008 on the DS, the PSP, and Xbox Live Arcade on the 360, and now we have N++, which is out on the PS4 and Steam. And while they're all very much variants on a theme, each addition to this series comes with its own little enhancements, and this version has a boatload of content in it. Holy living crap, and I'm going to show you that. So here's the idea here. They say this is a story, but basically you're a ninja and you have the power of awesome physics, and that's basically it. So there's a few different things you can do with this. This game has a fantastic soundtrack to it, a sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, electronic chill zen soundtrack. I really, really like it. So you can pick a whole bunch of different songs here, or you can just let it run, which I like. It just runs continuously, whether you're in menus, levels, whatever. There's also a bunch of different color schemes here. The default one for the game, I believe, is this one, Vasquez. I like retro. I like the contrast, and I think it sort of looks the best. And then there's a whole bunch of elements to this, so I'm going to show you all this. So this game has solo play, co-op mode, which is how I played the N++ back on the 360. I co-opted a bunch of it with a friend, though we didn't nearly finish it. And there's also a race mode, which you can see here has special abilities to it. Basically, your goal is, it's more of a score attack. Your goal is to try to finish a level as quickly as possible. And if you're playing with multiple people, which is really the way to do it, there's additional rules to it. But at its core, this is a puzzle game. So you have a redonkulous number of levels here. This is just the intro section, which are a bunch of levels that introduce you to all the different mechanics and enemy types in the game. Then you have the main N++ levels. So you can see here, each of these little episode sections has 5 levels in it. So every one of these blocks is 5 levels, and you can see how far down this goes. There's a lot in here. And then there's Legacy, which are a bunch of the levels from the previous N games that are also available in here. Yeah, there's a lot. It's kind of nuts. So let's just go right to the beginning here. So there's no load times, there's no nothing like this. The whole game is seamless. You go in and out of the menu. It's very, very quick. And the only controls you have in this game are the ability to run and the ability to jump. And you have to make everything work using those two methodologies. And the idea is that you're just supposed to open up the exit to a level and get to it. That's all you have to do to progress on. But you can see there's these little gold bars in every level. Ninjas love gold, as the story of N tells us. And ultimately what you really want to do to sort of maximize your play is to get all the gold before you get out of the level. And in addition to that, you want to get out of the level as quickly as possible. So this game has a very neat scoring system. So you see that bar at the top that's decreasing there. So that is both your time remaining to complete the level, which increases every time you pick up a gold block, as you can see, but it's also your score. So the quicker you complete the level, the higher the score you get as well. So you're incentivized in multiple ways to complete the levels as quickly as you can, but also trying to get as much of the gold as you can, because that will also ultimately increase both your time and therefore your score. It's a really unique system that it's very simplistic, but it combines things in a really neat way that you don't see in many games, and I've always liked that about the N series. That's what's cool about this. It is at its heart just a physics platformer puzzle game, but it does so many things in different ways, and the ways the physics are executed are so cool. So as you go on, things just start to ramp up, and the levels in this just get ridiculous later. They will demand that you not only think a lot and think fast and think on your feet, but they also demand very good reflexes and very good precision control, which the game offers. The interesting thing in this is one of those games where you will die a lot, like a lot. But like I as I've gotten older, I have become more patient than I used to be, but I am a person who tends to get frustrated very easily when I fail a lot in games. And most of the time that happens as a result of me thinking that the game did something unfair. And oh dear. We'll get to that too. But yeah, when you die in this game, it rarely to me ever feels unfair. It really does feel like you did something wrong. The controls are so tight, and the way the physics are applied are so uniform and so precise in N++ that it really doesn't make you angry when you fail, at least not for me. I never really get angry at this, and also the levels in general are very, very short. Now, some of the really advanced levels later on can be quite a bit longer and can require enough precision that retrying them will probably grate on you, I've no doubt. But even so, it's quick enough that I never want to throw my controller across the room and rage quit. And it's interesting that a game can be extremely difficult, but also not evoke that in me, which I always thought was pretty cool. Also, yeah, when you die in this game, you die in hysterical ways. Even though you basically play a stickman, when you get electrocuted or touch an explosive, you blow up in a hilarious way. Bits of you go flying everywhere. It makes funny, gory noises. And if your bits touch other explodey bits, you end up sort of catapulting all over the level, and it's pretty great. Let me see if I can find something from me here from one of these other episodes that does that well. This isn't going to do that well at all. But yeah, and what's amazing about this is, just like I said, the sheer amount of content in this. And for example, the co-op and race modes, all of their episodes and their levels are unique. These are all different levels, and they're all that are specific to the co-op mode. The race mode has its own completely different set of levels, and there's a lot of levels here too. Not as many as in solo, obviously, because that's kind of where the bulk of this game is. But it's still there's a lot in here, a crazy amount. So for example, you want to die here. See what I mean? It's a game that doesn't take itself seriously at all, even though it's got this, with the Zen electronic music and the minimalist art. Some might say it has almost a hipster aesthetic to it, but it also knows how to laugh at itself, and it knows how to make you laugh just enough to take that edge off. And that's what I find rather impressive about it, is the fact that, you'll die, like I said, you'll die in this game a lot, and there will undoubtedly be a point where you get very frustrated, but when you do die and your ninja bits go flying all over the place and it makes the funny sort of gushy noises, it makes you giggle and smile just enough to take that anger off. Just to take the edge away, so that you're not all right, you're not going, God damn it, screw this game. You're kind of going, nah, you know what, that was kind of funny. I'm gonna try this again. You'll still be frustrated, but you won't be ragey, and that's a very hard thing to do. And I think it's cool that they managed to pull that off. And yeah, this sort of Zen aesthetic it has, where it's very minimalist colors, it's very... the electronic score in this game is just fantastic. It's I don't know what genre of electronic this is, and I like electronic music, but it's not ambient because there's a beat to it, but it's very just sort of zen and trippy, you're just kind of yeah, you can sort of zone out listening to it, and I think it suits this very well, and it helps contribute to the atmosphere of being a very tense game, but keeping you relaxed at the same time. And there's a lot to manage here. So you've seen sort of various different enemy types and obstacles so far, and it introduces a lot more of these to you in the tutorial. Plus you have things like gravity and distance to contend with. So there is only a certain amount your ninja can fall in this before he falls too far. See, that wasn't it. But there is a distance to which your ninja can fall before he will do this. He just kind of collapses under himself. But there's little things to know, which is, for example, if you fall on an angle, like one of those little 45-degree angled surfaces, that doesn't count as fall damage, because you can sort of fall low, and you see you sort of recover it like that. So that's a little thing to notice. If you get running and you can build up a lot of momentum, you can sort of catapult off of that surface. So if it's a surface that gives you an angle, like that, you can sort of launch yourself into the air, and that is absolutely critical for beating some levels in general, but also for being able to get all the gold in some levels if you want. So these are all things that you have to keep in mind as you're doing it, and it requires really, really quick thinking. The beginning levels in this are pretty straightforward because they're designed to introduce you to everything, but it gets to the point where you have to think about many different things at once, and this game can become a real mind teaser. Like and it's kind of good mental exercise because you really have to be constantly thinking and trying to think a couple of steps ahead of what you're doing if you want to pull things off. So I completed that level. I didn't get all the gold, but you know, whatever. And that's the nice thing. If you want frankly, if you want 100% this game, more power to you. You should get some kind of fracking medal because holy jeez, this game would be unbelievably difficult to 100%. But if you're just like, no, you know what? I just want to beat the levels. Really? Really? Yeah, thanks for that. But if you just go, no, you know what? I don't want to get all the gold. I don't really care about leaderboard placement. I just really want to finish the levels and see everything. You can do that too if you like. You can just get the minimum amount that you have to do, open the door, jump through it, and boom, you're done. So it gives you options and it doesn't force you down a path. The only thing that you're gated off with here, so you see my global rank here, this is for this episode, is 4,200. Oh, fun locked color. Oh, I unlocked a color. Fun locked. That's funny. So, yeah, you sort of get the idea here, right? And you want to if you just want to see the levels, you can just jump through the levels. The only thing that gates your progress off is beating levels and completing episodes. And you see it's very, very generous. See all these ones in white? I can do all of these if I want. The only, like, episode BO5 is locked off right now, but I have a lot of options. So if you have one episode where you're like, you know what, this friggin' sucks, I don't like this, I want to go do something else, absolutely you can if you like. So you see here as well, you can also look at replays, which you can do off the leaderboards as well. This is another thing I love. I love games that let you do replays. So like, you want to see, and if you want to get better at this game, you want to learn how the top guy in the world did it, no problem. You grab his replay, and again, there's no load times, there's no retrievals. Everything in this game is, you know, it's super, super fast. So look, this guy's banging through this level. This is the top scorer in the world for this thing. Like, I love games that let you do this because in situations like this, I can just sit and watch replays for hours. Like, I could just sit back with a coffee and be like, you know what? I just want to watch the best people in the world play this game. Because, you know, I'm a big fan of things like speed runs and competitions like that, and it's essentially what this is. You're just sitting back and watching the best players in the world. And the game is so quick that there's no download time, there's no nothing. You just say, I want to watch this replay, and off it goes. And it's pretty much like that on the PlayStation 4 as well, from what I've seen. I don't have code for that version, but I've seen it in action. Runs at 60 frames a second. It's good and fast. I mean, the art style and production value in this is very minimalist, right? So it's not like this needs a ton of memory in order to do what it does. So it's very easy to watch this and see everything. I really want to see what this guy does here. Oh my god. You see what I mean? This is where this game can get. It can get crazy. And there's other obstacles in this for as well. See if I can show them to you. But there's other obstacles like there's like laser guns that will lock onto you. There's missile launchers that will launch seeking missiles at you. There's these little sort of blue things that will charge at you if you land on the ground next to them. There's all kinds of different hazards, and the game will use them in really amazing combinations just to really mess with you. And it's really impressive. The fact as well that this game was made. Maybe they had some contractors or something, but the core of Metanet Software is only 2 people, and they did the majority of this. Like, there's a reason why this developer... Did he not get everything? Wow. The top scorer in the world for this game didn't get all the gold. What? Holy jeez. Would you look at that? Huh. Isn't that something? So, yeah, and that's the thing. This game was made by only 2 people, and there's a reason that Metanet has only made endgames and that they have been years and years apart, because crafting all these levels and perfecting them by hand, oy vey, that would be a lot of work. Holy crap. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without, oh yes, a full level creation system. And, well, I don't make levels. I ain't know how levels work. But look, it's really, really simple. So I'm playing this with an Xbox One controller. You can play this perfectly with a keyboard because the whole game is basically 2 buttons. No reason why you couldn't do that. But yeah, you can make levels if you want. And how do you get out of here? Okay, here. No, we're not going to need to say that. And of course, this game has... Well, I don't actually know if it's Steam Workshop, but this game has a full-on level sharing system. So you can get co-op levels, you can get race levels, you can get solo levels, and yeah, you can browse by all kinds of different things here. So you can see we're going to sort by the best rated solo levels. You can also, when you're playing the game, you can oh dear. Oh, here we go. Here's some other stuff. So when you're playing the game, you can also just press the right trigger in the menu, and you can bring up anything like this. So you can view other levels by that creator if you want. It doesn't seem to be working super well, though, unless that was their only level. So you can favorite a level, which is essentially bookmarking it. You can follow the creator, so you can see when they've made new levels. Like, it's really, really slick, right? I really like what they did with that. It makes it very easy to find somebody you like who made something... Okay, this is trippy rad. You see here the song exchange. So, yeah, there's one of the... So there's the little things that charge you on the ground, and there's the... Damn it. The friggin' laser thing. God, friggin' laser things, man. So, you're sort of getting the idea here. But yeah, so it has an incredibly robust system for both creating and sharing levels built into the game, and I wonder... I should have looked this up first, but what would be really rad, especially since this seems to be being done by Metanet themselves and not by Steam Workshop, I wonder if this means that you can share levels cross-platform between the PC and the PlayStation 4. That would be amazing if that's the case, and I so hope that's true, because that would be, yeah, that would be absolutely incredible if you could do that. So I really hope so. But yeah, there's an incredible variety of stuff you can find in here. You can... Yeah, the browser doesn't seem to be perfect here, because I'm looking for Top Weekly and it says unable to query levels, so that's kind of a bummer. But here's the newest, the hardest. Like, let's just... I wonder if this is going to find anything. Yeah, it looks like the browser is a little mucked, which is kind of a bummer. But let's just see what else we got here. So to publish a level, I presume, much like something like Mario Maker or something like that, in order to be able to publish a level, you have to be able to finish it. So there's going to be no impossible things out there, which is perfectly fine by me. But, there is, well, not infinite content, but there is an incredible amount of content available here. So you see here how I'm sort of building momentum by rocketing myself off the opposite walls. That's part of another one of the core elements of this game that you have to get good at, is to be able to sort of launch yourself around like that. And I blew that. So I think this is really, really cool. I don't think I have the patience or the skill to finish this thing, but it's a really, really good value. I mean, there's an incredible amount. Okay, so this just shows my profile. It has full stat tracking as well here, which you can see. Like, again, it goes to... The attention to detail in this thing is really, really incredible. Also here, yeah, there's some help, which gives you some... Well, this just gives you the basics on the sort of game modes and things like that, obviously. So, it's relatively... that's the thing. This is a game that is incredibly easy to learn, but unbelievably hard to master. This is a game that will, you know... It will absolutely kick your ass and, you know, make you say you like it, but... There's a lot of fun to be found here. If you're very easily frustrated, you're probably going to hate this. If you are someone who likes a challenge and likes incredible complexity that hides in a veil of simplicity, then you're probably really going to dig the crap out of this. Like I said, I don't know if I'll finish this game, but I really think it's cool. I really love the idea with it. I think the fact that this is made by 2 people is really, really impressive. The one thing I do wish is that it did have online play for co-op, just because I don't know how many people are gonna be able to couch co-op this thing. I might try it with my girlfriend. She might like this game. I'm not sure. But that said, N Plus on Xbox Live Arcade did have online play, and it was terrible. Most Xbox Live Arcade games had terrible netcode, and even in spite of that, even when it was working okay, there was just, it added so much lag to a game that demands incredible precision that it just didn't work. So I totally understand why they left it out, but especially because this version has 4-player co-op, whereas the other one only had 2. Getting 4 people together in a room to play this, especially on PC, might be difficult. And I mean, even on the PS4, like, who has 4 PS4 controllers? Not a single person that I know. But, you know, but nonetheless, the option's there, and you will laugh your heads off when you play this with friends. I mean, when I played this with my buddy Styles, when we did this on the 360, we laughed all the time. Even when we spent like hours trying to beat a level, we laughed our heads off watching each other die and explode in hilarious ways. It was great fun. And yeah, it's an excellent PC version of the game as well. There are a decent number of options. In addition to that, the game does support 144 hertz displays if you want, which I've got, and I very, very much appreciate that it has that. There is a retry button as well there, as you can see, which is nice. So if you're in a level and you're just like, well, I screwed that up, you can just hit a button and restart right away if you like, which is always very, very, very nice. So, oh yeah, here we go. So yeah. Mayor Shepard and Reagan Burns are the 2 people from Metanet, but yeah, so they did have a bunch of contractors here who also helped out, which is cool. Oh, and the Ontario Media Development Fund pitched money into this too, which is neat. So, yeah, I think this is really good. I think the N series are super, super tight puzzle games. I think they're a lot of fun. They are incredibly deep, and there are a lot of different mechanics and things to learn in this. It eases you into them. Some might even say a little too slowly based on how big that intro section is. But yeah, don't let its simple aesthetic put you off, or the fact that this originated as a Flash game. This game has an immense amount of depth in it, an immense amount of complexity, an immense amount of challenge, and it's a great value. It's only $15 on Steam and on PlayStation 4, and you could spend hours in this just beating all the levels. And if you want 100% stuff, well, you frankly deserve a medal, because you are one of the more dedicated gamers I've ever seen. That's for dang sure. So yeah, that is N++, developed and published by Metanet Software in 2016 for the PlayStation 4 and the PC, which is the version I'm playing here. You know, in many cases, the PC version of a game is better than the console version. In this case, they're basically equal in terms of how they run and their capabilities. Ridiculous amount of content, very in-depth user-generated content capabilities, really nice Zen aesthetic, and challenging without homicide inducing, which is something I can always get behind. My name is Parallax Abstraction. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That would help me out a great deal. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody.